Hello, everybody. Today I'm speaking to Danny from Mayfield Technologies. Danny, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Everybody knows my channel is almost 100% related to Amazon sellers. And while this is not directly connected to Amazon sellers, it's really for all businesses. But I personally know some Amazon sellers that have dealt with this. And then I spoke to representatives of your company. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it. So tell me a little bit about cybersecurity and the landscape. If it's for big guys, if it's small guys, why can't I just use the any off the store antivirus software? Why do I need a company like yours?
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank you for inviting me and inviting Mayfield Technology to this session and your group. It's very exciting for us to be seen by all of your followers. Cybersecurity is extremely important now because the threat landscape is ever expanding. There's a rapid growth of threats because of AI, because it's so much easier for the bad people to find you. There's zero-day vulnerabilities that are constantly popping up. A zero-day vulnerability is something that no one really knows about. They just found it. The attackers are coming after you, and they're just looking for places to attack. And this can happen to anyone, whether you have a large organization or a small organization. And there's a reputational and financial impact to anyone that gets attacked. You know, it could be millions of dollars, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, or $10,000, whatever it might be. The impact to your business when you wake up and realize your email is down, your sales funnels are down, you can't access your systems, your computer is locked. Any of these sorts of things can disrupt your business anywhere from hours to days to weeks to even longer. So everyone, whether you're a very small seller or a very large seller with a large employee base, we all need to think about this and make sure that we're properly protected from all of these things.
So if I'm using, if I'm a small Amazon seller, and there are many very large Amazon sellers. Some people think that every Amazon seller working in his basement, but no, there are many very large, very large Amazon businesses. But if I am a smallish Amazon seller and I work off Google Drive and Amazon and Gmail, G Suite, am I still vulnerable?
You are still vulnerable to a certain degree. You're vulnerable from anything from someone sending you a PDF file that looks legitimate, because people send you invoices all the time. You're constantly clicking on links. Any one of those things could introduce an attacker into your system where they can start looking at your email, they can start pulling documents, they can start encrypting your documents and holding you ransom, saying, pay me some Bitcoin and then I'll give you all your data back. So these are the kinds of things that can really impact your business, and some of them are easy to fix and some of them are more difficult to fix. But at the end of the day, you don't want to have to really be dealing with any of these issues. So whether you're large or small, you still want to make sure that you are protected from any of this activity. The biggest challenge is there's a lack of real legal jurisdiction. There are people trying to attack people from all over the world, sitting in a basement halfway across the world. And once you're attacked, try calling the police. They're basically going to tell you, we'll give you a police report, but nothing is really going to happen. No one's really going to go after these people. You're kind of on your own. You know, in order to get the FBI involved, you got to be obviously a big player or a government agency or something for anyone really to care about the attack that you had. So the most important thing is to be as secure as you possibly can be, to stay away from these issues. Even if you feel that, that the risk is low, it happens to all of us. We're constantly attacked. I know that I'm being attacked all the time. I get calls, we all get emails, we all get text messages, we all get, strange things happening. And we all need to understand and know that it's constantly happening to all of us from all different channels, on your phone, on your email, clicking on a link, doing a Google search. It's happening from 365 degrees all around us. And the best
What do
thing.
you mean doing a Google search? What do you mean Google? How do you can get hacked with doing a Google search? Is that what you meant?
It's possible. I mean, people who just Google things and start clicking on links, sometimes they end up somewhere on the internet and they click a link somewhere else, and you're no longer on the site you think you're on. You're on a site that looks like it. It happens a lot. In my practice, I get calls all the time from people who click on a link and all of a sudden the screen is telling them, oh, you just got hacked, please call us, click here, and we'll fix it. And that's a virus. That's a website that's trying to fool you into clicking somewhere and buying a Microsoft service, but it's not Microsoft. So, when you're Google searching, you really got to be careful. Every time you click on a link, you got to really understand that there's a potential there for that link not to be the type of place you really want to go to.
Do you recommend paying the ransom person normally?
I normally not, but it really depends on the situation. Usually, if your systems are properly secured and properly backed up, which is what we would be providing, it's best to get that data from the backed up source. Typically, you back up to two different places for this exact reason, that even if one backup gets hacked and one backup gets ransomware, the other one might not be. It's obviously best not to pay the hackers, because there's no guarantee they'll actually give you the encryption key. And even if they give you the encryption key, sometimes it doesn't work properly, because I've seen that where the systems, you bring them back up and you still have to fix them later on. So it's best not to pay them. But if you're really in a bind, that's a financial decision you have to make. I've had clients do it both ways personally.
It's horrifying. I mean, blackmail. Yeah. So what can primarily, let's say a large seller that has internal systems that can cripple them overnight, what can they do proactively? Not just call you up and say, okay, this happened. Do I pay? Here's my backup. What can they do proactively to prevent it from happening?
Well, every system should be backed up. All data should be backed up, again, to two different sources, not just one. Paying a third party to do it is always a great idea. Multi-factor authentication, which is the thing that we all hate, but it's extremely important, which is whenever you log into something, yeah, I know my password, but then it sends me a text message to my phone. It opens up the Google Authenticator or the Microsoft Authenticator. Any system you have, you should implement that immediately. Make sure that all of your emails and everything has the proper way for you to gain access to it in case you lose your password or the password gets hacked, and make sure it's going to a valid source. Your phone number is correct. Make sure your secondary email is correct, and make sure that secondary email is also secured. As Amazon sellers now, we all see that Amazon is asking us to use something called a site key. And the one-time password. You're probably all seeing that right now when you log into your Amazon account. It's constantly asking you new things. That's Amazon basically trying to help you stay secure. But any system that you have that has that, every place you log in should have multi-factor authentication. It's really right now the most important thing. Secondarily, you need to make sure all your systems have an enterprise class antivirus tool, or an anti-malware tool, or anti-ransomware tool. Right now, that system is called an EDR, an endpoint detection and response, or a MDR, a managed detection and response. These are the next level, the best generation tools that we offer. But there are lots of other software out there that can do the same thing. What we offer that's different is that we have a 24/7 operations globally that's constantly watching over our clients and responding to these things automatically. In the middle of the night, if something happens that looks really nefarious, we can isolate it, shut down that system while we help you figure out, was this a true attack? And we can stop that attacker before the attacker gains access and creates more damage to your system. That's the most important things these days, is to have a 24/7 proactive security posture that you can put on what we call autopilot.
Right. So I know a lot of people who are going to be watching this are very large Amazon sellers, and I really wanted to do this because I know personally people who have gone through this and they didn't think their business will survive, and they've lost, like, the number that you mentioned before. It's even more.
Yeah.
And so it's millions of dollars if something like this happens. What does it cost to implement? I mean, ballpark figure, to proactively have this monitoring system. What would it cost instead of the millions that you could potentially lose? How much are you looking for? Because everyone's looking to cut costs, which I understand. Everyone's trying uh, totally get that, but you want to cut in the right area. So what would it cost you? What would it cost if you can give me a ballpark figure? I mean, you're talking about 25 grand a year, you're talking about $1,000. Like, give me some estimates.
Yeah, so the smaller organizations can do it for a few $100s a month. Larger organizations, it'll be a few thousand to, ten. That really depends how big the organization is. The licensing and everything is kind of by endpoint and by user. So if you have 10 computers, it's going to be a smaller amount than if you have 100 computers. But the way I kind of look at it is it's important to have security. And we can't all hire a security guy to sit at our office and do it. But what this is a fractional security person. You have a 24/7 security office, security operations center running for you. So you have to look at it kind of like that, where if it's going to cost you $2,000 a month, well, that's less than $25,000 a year to have a security guy working for you 24/7. A lot of our services that we offer, not only is it 24/7 monitoring, it's also proactive changes to the configuration when threats emerge and firewalls need to be updated and your cloud, your Office 365, your Google Cloud, and any other cloud that you're using needs to be changed. We can do that for you overnight without really having much interaction with you. Instead of waiting 6 months for someone to utilize that vulnerability, get into your systems, get by, and cause that harm. So it's kind of having a fractional security officer working for your company. So the value is there. And that's kind of the way I look at it. It is expensive. We do want to cut costs, but you have to understand what you're buying. You're buying a fractional security expert watching over your systems so you can sleep at night comfortably.
I get it. All that's involved is downloading some software on each computer, or what exactly is involved for the onboarding process? Is it like a long process, or it's just like downloading a piece of software? How does it work?
Yeah, the endpoint detection is a piece of software. We would provide it for you, and you would download it, put it on all the computers. Those computers would start showing up on our dashboards. The logs and the data will come in, and we'll be monitoring it. Firewalls, you just grant us access to it, and again, the same thing. We'll log in, we'll do assessments, we'll make changes, we'll bring it up to speed for the latest security postures that are around, and we'll continue monitoring it. Office 365 and Google, it's the same thing. You grant us access to be the global administrator of these systems. We log in and we basically point it to our system so we can look at the logs, and the logs will tell us something strange is happening here, and then we'll start looking into it and make sure that it is a valid action. It'll baseline everything that's happening and kind of understand what is normal for your organization and what is abnormal for your organization. It'll start showing you incidents, and it'll open up a ticket saying, "This looks a little bit strange. Let's look into it." And again, if it needs to be stopped in its tracks, they'll stop it in its tracks. So the onboarding process is pretty simple. It's like you said, it's installing a small piece of software on each computer and granting access to firewalls and cloud systems that will be monitoring for you.
That can be done within a day, within a week. I mean, typically.
Yeah, within a day, 2 or 3. There's a little tweaking, but yeah, it doesn't take too long.
Right. Very interesting. And again, I mean, it's anybody watching it. This is a real issue, and I mean, I feel like if someone is just using Google Drive and everything is backed up, it may be less of an issue because Google Drive is they probably have their own security. Is that correct? I would think.
Yeah. But I think, but it's also best to utilize a third party outside of Google Drive, because what can happen sometimes is you might not notice that some things got ransomware and some files are encrypted, and if Google's only backing up for 30 days and you find out on the 31st day, I haven't seen these files in a long time. It's the quarter, it's the annual files you look at, and then you realize, what are you going to do at that point?
Right. You're finished, right?
It can happen.
Right. But internal systems, which many people have, I mean, that'll completely cripple, because I know that's the ones that I know about. And I know there are many people who have these like internal systems, and if that gets hacked or whatever, then you're in big trouble. So I'm going to put a link below this video. We'll have some kind of discount for ASGTG.
Yep.
And I appreciate you coming on. And I know I've spoken to other people in the organization, and they were telling me stories. And people, I think one guy told me that 75% of businesses don't get back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is those are scary stats. Yeah, it's very hard to recover from major attacks.
Right, and we got to prevent it
Yep.
properly. Well, it makes a lot of sense. So incredible. It's like it feels like, remember that show 24?
Yep.
Feels like that's what we're living. But now everyone is there.
One of the things that I love about Mayfield is that, yeah, we're cyber guys, but we also understand you have a business to run. So we don't put so much security that it impacts your business. You have to be able to run your business. And when we are looking at our playbooks and we're looking at our policies and procedures that we're recommending, we're looking at it through the eyes of the end user, through your eyes, making sure that security doesn't get in the way of your everyday business. And that's the
Right.
one thing that I really love about this company, different than other companies.
Okay, I appreciate it, Danny. Thank you so much for coming. This was really
My pleasure.
eye-opening, and I'll put the link below. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. Bye bye.